good evening everybody, and welcome to Mechanism Overview. So tonight, as I promised on the forums of Prospectcraft, I'm going to sort of just go over the different tier processing that Mechanism provides us. What I've done is I've moved my base since the last video, if you watched that, but we're now in a hot plains. It gives a better multiplier to the solar evaporation tank, but I'll take you all the way through the steps of different ore processing. Various different tiers are all separated off into different rooms to make it very clear which one's which, with the exception of the first two tiers. So tier 1 really starts with the enrichment chamber and the energized smelter. Very simply, it takes dust and it takes ores into the enrichment chamber. Tier 1 produces a dust, which then goes into an energized smelter and finally becomes an ingot ready for use. Over for tier 2, tier 2 starts a bit further along with the chemical injection chamber. Excuse me. Sorry, no, tier 2 doesn't start with the chemical injection chamber, that's tier 3. Tier 3, sorry, tier 2, let me get back in grip here, is the electric. Let me go find where I'm at. I have completely forgotten where tier 2 starts. It should start at an electrolytic separator, and I thought it put it all in this room. The electric separator appears to be this one over here. We want one dealing with just water, which actually will be this one. Yeah, that's better. This is what I was looking for. So the water here, we're actually only interested in the oxygen. The oxygen, as you can see, is pumped all the way around the room, into this room, and here we go, into the purification chamber. So this is the start of tier 2, with the addition of the oxygen being pumped in from the tier 3 machines, which I'll come back to in a second. So in this case, I'm already running a maximum ore processing line, which is why you can see shards in here, but you would normally add in the ore at this level. It would then compress it down into chunks, which is pushed through the crusher, fed into the enrichment chamber, into the energized smelter, and then into an ingot. So that gives you 3 times the ore you would normally get. So 2 times the ore at this stage, 3 times the ore at this stage. Tier 3, the ore gets entered into the chemical injection chamber. So this produces the shards that you just saw. And tier 3 really belongs more with this room in here, because a lot of it is to do with chemicals, chemical processing. That's tier 3. So what we've got is the machine here is producing hydrogen as well as the oxygen. So the oxygen's used in the lower tier, so a bit of recycling going on there. And the hydrogen is pumped through into the chemical infuser along with brine from solar evaporators. So the solar evaporator giving me not much at the moment, it must be night time, but I think it's a 0.8 multiplier here, produces brine from water, gets pumped into this electronic separator, producing sodium, which currently has no use as far as I can tell, so I'm dumping excess just in case there is a use for it, and I can quickly pipe it out through the wall that way and do something with it. But it produces the byproduct brine here, which is pumped into the chemical infuser chlorine. Sorry, that's the byproduct from the brine, it's the chlorine. So the hydrogen and the chlorine make hydrogen chloride. That's pumped up for tier 4 use later on, but as well I'm currently pumping it down and across through into this room and directly into the side of the chemical injection chamber. And there you can see it's currently sitting full. That's a secondary sort of product that you need for creating the shards and the chemical injection. So the final tier is upstairs, so let's go upstairs. Here you can see the power generation I'm using, 5 wind farms with Mekanism wind turbines, providing plenty of energy. It goes down there into a quantum flux entangler, which then gets powered to my various machines using using exciters to pick up the power. The top floor is just powered directly through, just drops down and runs underneath the machines. So the last tier is slightly more machine heavy. There's quite a bit of it. These are actually the 3 machines that we use to do the ore 5 times ore processing, and it's actually this machine here that does all the hard work. So at the minute I just have a chest, same full of ores, feeds into the hopper, feeds into the machine, and the machine is using sulfuric acid, which we'll look at the production of that in a second, to create gold slurry, which is then put through the chemical washer with water to produce clean slurry, which is then put into the chemical crystallizer and produces shards. So this chest should be filling up with crystals. This should be crystals in here. So here we go, gold crystal. Now normally I would have that piped down to the chemical injection chamber, but due to a bug in this version of Daybreaker, I can't auto-inject it into the machine, so it's just collecting in the chest, and every now and then I come up and grab it, run downstairs and then throw it in the machine downstairs for processing and finishing off the final parts. So, the sulfuric acid is generated by quite a process of secondary machines, all of which you can see here, really starting with the chemical injection chamber. So this is taking hydrogen chloride from the floor below, which we just looked at, and is the secondary item that it requires is gunpowder. That produces sulfur, which this machine then turns into sulfur oxide, which then gets pumped into this machine along with some oxygen to generate sulfur trioxide. Again, the oxygen is supposed to be pulled up from the floor below as a bit of recycling work. And then this machine takes water vapour, which is brought through from the rotary condensator, which happens to be on the same water feed as the solar evaporator tank, which you can just see over the side of the building there. And as I said, that's then all mixed together in the chemical infuser to give us the sulfuric acid, and that completes the tier 5 work.